Welcome to Ethelo. In this example, we use Ethelo to host a granting process, where a group of judges comes together to evaluate a number of grant applications and determine which should be funded. We start at the Create a Project page, which lists all the different templates that are available. We can search for a template or apply a filter to find templates for business processes. From the business templates, we'll choose the granting template. We start by customizing basic project info, such as the title, the URL, and the introduction. This template already has some example text filled in. The options page is where we list all the applicants for the grant funding. We can add new applications and set the amount of funding requested by each one. We can edit the application descriptions and upload any information, such as the application form itself or organizational details. We can also adjust the order of the options by moving them up or down, or set the order to random. On the constraints page, we can set the minimum and maximum amount of funding that will get allocated towards the different applications. Let's set the minimum amount of funding to 0. On the criteria page, we can determine what criteria the judges should be applying to evaluate different applications. We can add new criteria and change the order by moving them up and down. We can also randomize the order that the criteria will be presented in. We can edit the descriptions of the criteria and set the default weight of each one. If we want the participants to determine the weight of the criteria, we can allow participant weighting. On the participants page, we can add new people to the project, either directly, by adding their name and email, or by uploading a list. The last step is to launch the project. Here, we can set the start date and adjust it, and set the end date. We can decide whether to send invites on launch, and we can edit the invitation email. Finally, we can launch the project. This is the first page of the participant interface, and what all the judges who were invited will see. We'll go through the process as a participant and show how Ethelo can enable the judges to focus their collective intelligence in finding the best shortlist of applications. On the left-hand side, we see the different applications. In the middle, we can read an overview of the granting project and the task facing the judges. We can see, for example, that we will be finding the best shortlist of applications to spend our total budget of $300,000. On the right, we have some instructions on how to participate. We advance the process by clicking Next. The first application in this example is Artemis United. We can read a summary of this application and see that they are requesting $60,000. We can read the detailed application by clicking a link. Underneath, we can see the various criteria that must be applied to the Artemis application. For example, the first criteria is collaboration. We can read a definition of the collaboration criteria and evaluate the application based on that criteria on a scale from weak, fair, good, very good, to excellent. We can explain our reason for giving this criteria score and read other people's comments. We can like the comments and reply to them. We apply each of the criteria to the application, voting and commenting on each one. When we're done, we click Next. The next application is Walking Strong Group. Just as before, each judge votes on how well the application does under each of the different criteria. They can share their reasoning and discuss it with the other judges. On the right-hand side, you can see the top choice panel. Here, the short list of applications that this participant supports will begin to appear. The Ethelo algorithm will ensure that the total amount requested by the applications in this panel will never exceed the $300,000 budget. Participants go through all the different applications, applying the set of criteria to each one and discussing them. When we get to the weight criteria page, the participant can adjust the relative importance of the different criteria. You can see that before making any adjustments to the weighting of the criteria, my top choice contains the following list of applications, and the total amount required is less than the $300,000 budget. Now, if I adjust the weighting, for example, giving collaboration a high priority, root cause a low priority, replicability a moderately high priority, etc., I will get a quite different selection of applications in my top choice panel. This is because the different applications score differently under the different criteria. No matter how I weight the criteria, however, the Ethelo algorithm will always make sure that the total cost of the applications in my top choice panel is under the $300,000 budget. In this way, every participant plays the role of decision maker, applying criteria and weighting those criteria to identify the best shortlist. Then, we can see the collective results. On the collective results page, Ethelo has analyzed every possible way that the Foundation can grant $300,000 to the various applicant organizations. In this case, there were 312 potential granting scenarios. All of the scenarios are presented in ranked order, from the most strongly supported to the least supported. In doing this analysis, the Ethelo algorithm can be configured to take into account group dynamics and the importance of fair outcomes. Ethelo ranks the scenarios by looking at the distribution of support for each scenario. Ethelo can be set to give polarizing outcomes like that on the left a low score, and a high score to outcomes like that on the right, where judges are similar in their levels of support. Here, Ethelo has identified an optimal grant scenario that has a high level of support from almost all the judge participants. The total requested by those 4 applications is under the $300,000 granting limit. Scenario analysis is not the only way that Ethelo can present its results. Alternatively, we can display the results in a simple ranked listing, with all the different applications listed in ranked order, depending upon their overall score. Either way, Ethelo provides groups of judges with a simple, objective approach to collaborating in the evaluation of grant proposals.